Welcome to another edition of Performance TV presented by Top Code. Filling in for Kathy and Joe, I'm Dave Dobson from the Motorhead Garage TV series, and you know what? The timing's perfect for me to be here because I get to hang out with Randy LaJoie, an old friend and a three-time NASCAR champion. And of course, Randy, you made your name in a race car, but I think you've made even a bigger splash since you retired. What are you up to?
Well, I started this little company called The Joy of Seating. It's a seat company that in 1994, NASCAR told me I could not use my fiberglass seat anymore that my dad had purchased in 1971 from the late Mark Donahue. Today is still saving lives. So Mark Donahue, back in 1971, my dad jumped on it, thought it was a great seat. So when I started racing, he goes, "You need to use this."
What made a seat like this great?
Well, being that it's round and it fits your butt, it formed to you, and it held you in by your shoulders. So you didn't have to worry about a lot of stuff holding yourself in the car, because that's what a lot of guys had to do, was they worried about how they were going to hold themselves in their vehicle. Well, Mark held himself by the shoulders, and the shoulders are a lot stronger than your rib cage. That's the way it started with The Joy of Seating, was a 1971 model Mark Donahue seat. I mean, anytime you try to go faster than the next guy, you're going to have more G-forces than the next guy. So if you were more comfortable, you would think you could outdrive the guy. And when I started this, it was a comfort thought first. I thought everybody wanted to be comfortable, but I was wrong because there's a price point in there. And that's one of the things that I've noticed in the last 20 years is that price point matters. And I'm not going to build a cheap seat because I don't think race car drivers need cheap seats. These guys need to be protected. I was a crash test dummy. I have had to change the name of my son's crash testing days because he's a data acquisition technologist now.
Politically correct.
Correct.
Now, how far advanced was this seat? And let's show you. This is an antique, obviously, right? Probably from the 60s?
Yes, but they used this till the year 2000.
Unbelievable.
There was a handful of guys in the NASCAR Cup Series: Earnhardt, Harry Gant, Robert Presley, Jack Ingram, a lot of guys, Larry Pearson. These were the seats that they had until the year 2000.
That is unreal. Unreal. So it went from this, and of course you incorporated that Mark Donahue type design.
Correct.
And this is what you came up with.
In 1994, we had to make it out of aluminum, and nobody in the seating industry would do that. We did try to make one out of aluminum, but anytime you try to make something round out of something flat, there's a cost. And nobody wanted to do the extra work. Met a man in Ohio, and he says, "Okay, I can see what you have. I'm a fan. You've won a couple championships. This is cool. And I'll see what we can do to make aluminum round." And this is my first edition, and it was nowhere near strong enough. You know, I would end up on top of the transmission. If I hit something, I would end up near the door bars. You hit something. So as I went on, I had to make the seat stronger and stronger.
And you were your own crash test dummy.
Yes, I was.
Now that seat has evolved. You've taken the same basic design, and this is what you have today.
Correct.
Tell me about this one.
Now this here is NASCAR Cup Series 100G hit seat. All the belts are incorporated in the seats for the NASCAR, all three NASCAR Touring Series, which is wonderful. It keeps the belts short, keeps the angles right. The stretch is less because the belts will stretch. Your body is 60% fluid. We're trying to contain jello, so we're trying to keep it into the seat and let it move less. Now this seat here has been tested very well by my son. Just this last Daytona, this is a seat that he was sitting in when he crashed with Ryan Newman coming to the checkered flag. Thankfully, it saved his life. And NASCAR needs to be commended with the work that they've done since 2001. To come up with a system like this, I mean, the strength of this seat compared to my first edition, this is a 40-pound seat. That's a 15-pound seat. So we had to put a lot of stuff around it to get the strength. But obviously, my boys here, Ryan Newman's here. Both of those kids would have went to, we would have been going to a funeral 20 years ago. But NASCAR has done a great job with protecting the driver. And I'm trying to take that technology I've learned from NASCAR, the R&D Center, and bring it to all the short track cars.
Well, speaking of short tracks, we've got a short track seat here for a short person. This is Corey's seat a few years ago, back when he was racing the Bandoleros and stuff like that. And it's the best seat going if you get your kid getting into racing. And of course, we've got a dirt car back here, and they've got one of your seats in it. What do you hear from guys like this at the small town tracks when you go out and about? Anytime
you go to anywhere, this is a Lucas Oil dirt late model, very similar to a World of Outlaws late model. 900 horsepower, running on dirt tracks. They're not smooth. And these guys get hammered, and being that the seats fit them a lot tighter today than they used to, the drivers are a lot better off, and they can control these. I mean, these things are it's a missile with a motor in it.
Well, it's all about control and performance, and it's all about safety. And you can check them out at thejoyofseating.com. More Performance TV is on the way.
Frenchman Nicolas Joseph Cugnot invented the first steam-powered road vehicle, a tractor for the French Army. In what year did Cugnot's machine first hit the road? Was it 1805, 1650, 1899, or 1769? Believe it or not, over 250 years ago in 1769. More Performance TV right after this. Performance TV, presented by Topcoat, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system. Everything LED for your Harley-Davidson motorcycles. And by Topcoat. Don't just coat it, Topcoat it.
Welcome back to Performance TV. Now, I want to take a minute and talk about the Humble Socket Wrench and talk about a versatile tool. It's super simple, and you can use it for just about anything around the house. If you have a DIY project, of course, you've used one of these. If you are a woodworker, you've used it for lag bolts and all kinds of different things. And of course, since you're watching Performance TV, you're into cars, and that means you use these all the time. Now, the socket wrench, as we know it, has been around since about 1863. And since then, of course, there have been different heads developed, spline heads, hex heads, special heads just for spark plugs. And apart from the different heads, not much has changed in the last 120 years. And I tell you, one of the things that hasn't changed is organizing your sockets. It's always been a hassle. Now, of course, we see here in our toolbox, there are different organizers and different racks and different holders for your sockets to keep them organized in your toolbox. But once you get out doing the project, that's where you run into some trouble, and that's where the folks at Socket Straps come in. Now, as you know, you're running from car to car and you're shoving sockets in your pocket, trying to keep track of everything. And usually most projects take about 1 or 2 sockets and a couple of different tools. The inventor of Socket Straps came up with these just for that reason. He was working on a classic car that his parents had, an old American Thunderbird, and of course those had SAE measurements, and he was working on a Toyota at the same time, and that was all metric, and he was tired of juggling different sockets, so he came up with this idea of the Socket Strap. They are magnetic. They're covered in a urethane, so they're nice and soft. You can put them right on the side of your car. Any of the body panels, wherever you're working, you can put them right there, and it's going to keep your sockets right at hand. And you can also put the actual wrench there. You can put your screwdriver, any other tools you're working with. The socket straps keep them handy. Now this urethane, it's not just soft and pliable, and it'll conform to any shape of the body panel that you're working on. It's also really durable. It can endure any kind of chemicals you're going to put on it. It's resistant to even a brake cleaner. And so you know this is going to be around for a long, long time. You also know it's going to be around a long time because it's made in the USA. It's a quality product. You know where it comes from. Socket straps have plenty of variety too. There's 3 different sizes. You've got the ones here that hold 8 different sockets or 8 different tools, 6 or 4. We have them in the red, the blue, and the black. I'm rather partial to the red myself, but whatever floats your boat. A cool thing, I talked to the owner that invented these, and of course he told me the story about running back and forth between one car that was metric and one that was SAE. I asked what was the most important thing when he was coming up with the idea for this, and he wanted to make sure the magnets were strong enough. And he says that this is strong enough. You can actually put the sockets in there, and you put it in the back of your truck. You can go down a bumpy road, and those are still going to be there whenever you get to your destination. Tell you what, when I was unboxing these things and taking a look at them for the first time, I thought, why haven't I thought of this idea? It's so elegant in its simplicity, and it just works. The socket straps were unveiled at SEMA last year in Las Vegas, and that's the biggest automotive convention in the universe. and folks are there from all over the world checking new things out, and these were a big hit. Folks were taking the socket straps. There was a classic Bronco there in their booth, and they were using the socket straps and watching how pliable they are and how they conform to the shape of that classic Bronco on the side panels, and they were amazed by the suction once they put the magnet down, just how powerful those magnets were. And we think once you try them out, you're going to think they're a big hit as well, because we really dig them here. If you want to check them out, you can go to their Facebook page. Lots of giveaways there. They're doing some cool stuff all the time, so you want to check out that. You also want to go to Amazon if you want to buy them, but if you want to get them even quicker, go to their website. They're at socketstraps.com.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
Magic Creeper, we all should have one or two of these. Have them in the vehicle, have them at home. So many different uses, Joe, that we have seen other than being just a creeper.
Absolutely. Here at Performance TV, we're always working on cars, and there are literally thousands of opportunities to use the Magic Creeper. And you just keep it in your car, you keep it all rolled up where it's nice and safe as a little cushion, and you'll find these uses emerge, whether it be getting under the car, on the side of the road,
right,
moving something heavy, even using as a simple cushion.
Because it doesn't have wheels, so you're not going to be getting hung up on something. Say you're out on maybe a cobblestone driveway or whatever. You're not going to be able to use a creeper out there, but you can. The Magic Creeper, zero clearance. You roll on. Once you sit down on it, it moves upon itself. So you stay clean while you're outside or inside. You're not going to mess up a really nice garage floor, say that you had done custom or whatever, because no wheels.
It's just a better design. Think about the creeper that you've used for many years. First of all, the ones you'd get old school with those wheels that would swivel. You would have to like literally fight against it.
Right.
This, you get more ground clearance. You can just slide all around. It is the better mousetrap we've always heard about.
And it is a puncture resistant, so we don't have to worry about things like that. Something else that Magic Creeper offers, you can get it just like this. You can actually get the nice carry case, or you could go out all the way and get the emergency roadside kit. But make sure you're getting the original by going to their website at magiccreeper.com.
Do not go anywhere. We've got lots more Performance TV still to come.
The internal combustion engine was invented by French engineer J.J. Etienne Lenoir in 1859. But it was over a quarter century later before it would find its way to the automobile. German mechanical engineer Carl Benz designed and built the first practical car with an internal combustion engine in 1885. Just think, without those guys, Performance TV would probably be featuring the latest in steam engine technology. We'll be right back. Performance TV coming from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Performance TV presented by Top Coat. And we dug into the archives for this one, and we think you'll dig it too.
It's fun to customize your vehicle, and by doing so, saving some brake dust and really making it look cool. And that's why we have Mike here with us from MGP Caliper Covers. And Mike, you really got this idea from just sitting back and looking at your own vehicle.
Yeah, I had a vehicle, a Denali, had big wheels on it, and I noticed that the caliper behind the wheel was quite ugly. There's some other options on there, painting and doing something, but I came up with this design. We got a clip design that works really well. It's a do-it-yourself job. The materials are aluminum, stainless steel, so they're going to last forever on your car. We're blessed. We have license agreements with GM, Honda, Acura, Ford, Mopar, who carries the Jeep and Dodge lines. So yeah, we're honored to be associated with those companies. So we have the ability to do a color match, a custom color match. So all we need is a paint code and we can color match it.
And these things are so super easy to install.
Very easy, very easy. About 5 minutes a wheel.
5 minutes, Will. I like it. Let's check in with Joe.
We're going to spiff up the look of this new 2020 Silverado with some caliper covers. Mike, how are we going to handle this?
We're going to show how this product is put on. It's a great do-it-yourself product. It'll take that ugly caliper and make it look good and add color behind the wheel.
Seems like a pretty simple install with these stainless steel clips, aircraft quality nut. It's not going to rust. It's going to hold it on there. And just like that, it looks like somebody can handle it at home.
It's no problem. Jack up the car, take off the wheel, and I'll show you how to put it on right now.
Let's do it. Let's get in it. First of all, we got a brand new Silverado. What's going to make this thing look nicer? Well, we got our Chevrolet caliper covers. Fits the brand.
It does. We're actually licensed with Chevrolet and all GM models, so we're allowed to put on their logos onto the caliper covers, which will match your truck. All the caliper covers are aluminum base. They're formed to fit the caliper. All the engraving you see here is actually 30 thousandths deep, so it'll never scratch off. We finish it with a tough powder coat, and then we paint fill in the characters for that added color. Yeah, it helps foil the brake dust behind the wheel if you have heavy brake dust, and with the material being aluminum as well, it'll also dissipate heat off the caliper. It acts like a heat sink.
Very interesting. All right, so what's the first step?
First step, we remove the nuts off the clips, and each clip comes in and goes right over the rotor and just snaps into place on the top of the caliper in this instance.
Pretty much just press it on.
Just press it on. So put on each side, snap it into place just like that. And this is actually what holds the caliper cover onto the caliper. This is the trick. The clips are the trick to the whole deal. And you'll see the slotted holes here. So what I do in this instance is we line up that with the studs, and this one's going to snap into place. As you see on this caliper, it's got a kind of a bar across the top. So this one's going to snap down right into place. The 1032 nuts have the star washer built into them. Thank you. And that star washer, as you compress it down, compresses into the material and actually holds that nut in place.
For a nice secure fit. Now, why not a nylock or an elastic stop nut?
Great question. We don't put a nylock on there because of the heat of the caliper. As the heat heats up and cools down, it'll just wipe out that nylock.
And then you'll have your caliper covers coming loose. Better design. I like it.
I want that, yeah. So the torque spec for a 1032 is 25 inch-pounds if you're using a torque wrench. Otherwise, just a good tight right there, and it's locked into place.
And it's not just for trucks either.
Not just for trucks. We cover everything from small cars to large cars, European models, Japanese models. We cover almost everything that we can possibly cover within the range between a Mini Cooper to an F-350 truck.
So our install up front is done. We're going to put the front tire back on. What's different about the rear?
Different about the rear is that it will be a little bit different with the clip design. The rear calipers are a floating caliper, which is more traditional, and the clips will come on from each side just like they do here with the studs in place. Put the caliper cover over it, lock it down, same basic procedure.
Just like that, if you're looking to dress up your car or truck with some really nice caliper covers that go on super easy, check out their website. They've got a lot going on for a lot of different vehicles. We'll have more Performance TV after this.
Every year, 160,000 people head to the SEMA show to check out the latest in the automotive aftermarket industry. Nearly 2,500 companies from 140 countries gather in Las Vegas to show off their wares. Just how big is the aftermarket industry? According to the Specialty Equipment Marketing Association, $45 billion. Performance TV, presented by Topcoat, is brought to you by Stage 8 Fasteners, home of the world's best locking hitter bolts. Locking kits now available for all turbo applications. Go to stage8.com. Auto Metal Direct, our name says it all. Engine Swap Supply, tackle your projects with confidence. PBI Customs, quality custom metal accessories for your Jeep or 4x4. And by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever.
Welcome back to Performance TV, presented by Topcoat. Once again, we're going to go into the archives, and Joe and Kathy have something pretty cool to show you.
You know, if you've got a cool old truck like our 50 Chevy that we have here, but you want to be able to listen to your tunes and have your Bluetooth without messing up the dash and keeping it looking completely original, you can do that with custom Autosound. What we have here today is something that's going to fit right in the factory dash. You're not going to have to cut anything. It's going to be very simple to install, but it's got all the cool toys. We're going to be able to have the Bluetooth. It's going to have the microphone. Everything is labeled, and you're even going to have different colors. So if you want to customize the look, you can do that as well. 7 different colors. You've got everything you absolutely need. And the custom Autosound radios, they are assembled here in the United States. They go through lots of different testing, from vibration and heat and cold, and they make sure that everything is going to be perfect for when you install it in your ride. And getting to the install, everything is marked so you can plug in your flash drive or your USB. Everything is labeled, and we even picked up a cool speaker that is going to attach right to the bottom of this radio to fit perfectly in the 50 truck. And you know who's going to install it, because I know he's good at it. Joe, why don't you say that we get you started here? Here's the radio. Here's your speaker. I'll let you get at it. If you want to find out what they have for your ride, like they have for our 50 truck, you can just go to their website at customautosound.com, and I can't wait to hear what this sounds like in our truck.
Here we go. Another install, custom Autosound, and this is one of my favorite things to do because I love classic cars, but I love modern music, and not even so much the music as the electronics. And they have got a really cool program for our 50 Chevrolet. You see the speaker is going to sit right behind the dashboard, but we got to make sure everything is in place first. And you see Bluetooth, you see everything you need, microphone. The first thing you're going to want to do, though, is plug in the wires. And the great thing about Custom Autosound is they make it so simple. Even I can do it, right? It's keyed. You cannot make a mistake, meaning there is only one way that each plug fits. You want to plug it in and tug on it just a little bit to make sure it is securely in there. And in this case, we have our additional speaker. And so we're going to put that in as well. It is also keyed. Now they are both in. You might want to do a little fitment in the beginning just to make sure everything looks good coming out the dash. So the speaker goes over the radio. We are all plugged in. We got our cables all in, ready to go. And now, up underneath the dash. And in this case, the cable is giving me a little bit of trouble. Just got to move it out of the way. And there it is. We are up and around. This is the great part. Custom Autosound has got it so it looks just like a factory stereo. So what we're going to do, grab our washer and our nut, and just get one of them on there to hold it in place. Thread it on there hand tight. And remember, never over tighten. So now one is in. Gonna reach down, grab our other side, put it in. Now I'm thinking about safety features like hands-free, like Bluetooth, like good quality auto sound. So now that it is in, got our 1/4-inch drive, 1/2 inch, gonna tighten it down because this is gonna pull it up behind the dash. Remember, you got a speaker on there, you got a little more weight than normal. So you're gonna wanna just make it really tight. What's also great is we've got a steel dash, so we can crank it down a little bit. There is a nut on the stereo. So this is basically a compression fitting. And there we go. We are in good shape there. We're in good shape there. Now time to put on the knobs. And I am thinking to myself, we are just seconds away from jamming the hits with our new custom Autosound stereo in our 1950 Chevrolet.
If there's something you'd like to see featured on the show, be sure to email Jeff at masterstv.com. Until next week, have a good one. We will see you.